Do people still do casual commentary? I'm thinking I'm gonna bring it back. You know, slap some irrelevant gameplay footage in the background, put on some calming Final Fantasy music, and just talk about something that I find really interesting. Dead by Daylight. I hope this video does well since I'm trying to branch out more from just TF2 content. Dead by Daylight, for those unfamiliar, is an asymmetrical multiplayer game where 4 survivors go against a single killer. It started out as a horror game, but it's honestly not super scary anymore. But this isn't about the mechanics of Dead by Daylight, which are so complex and deep I would have to spend hundreds of hours to really understand them all. No, this is about Dead by Daylight's community. I find the DBD community fascinating because it's one of the only large gaming communities to be essentially split into 2 groups. There are survivor players dedicated to learning how to effectively save each other, repair generators, escape the killer, and eventually leave the match alive. And there are killer players, the villains who stalk the survivors before picking them apart and killing them one by one, like in a slasher film. Most players will stick to one role or the other, with a minority playing both as much as possible. I'm a killer main. When I play Dead by Daylight, I'm the bad guy. I've committed myself to the role of villain, and as such my job is to hunt down 4 people in a dark and spooky environment and kill them. I do play Survivor from time to time, and it's fun, but I'm not very good at it. 90% of the time, I'm gonna be playing killer. And that's how it is with most of the community. They pick the role they like and stick to it most of the time. This results in an interesting divide where players can fundamentally misunderstand the mechanics and requirements of playing the other side. Survivor players, and I mean exclusive Survivor players, won't understand what it's like being a killer, and naturally, killer players like myself can't possibly understand how it is to be a survivor. Not many gaming communities are like this. In Call of Duty, everyone has the same guns and is trying to do the same thing. In Mario Kart, everyone wants to win the race. But in Dead by Daylight, each side has a different objective, and this leads to a ton of strange expectations and bewilderment. I browse the forums a lot, and I see a ton of posts complaining about things the other side does. Killers complain about survivors, survivors complain about killers. They argue over who the hottest female survivor is, Serena by the way, and over who the hottest male survivor is. Nicolas Cage is the obvious answer. And you know, people complain on the internet. Water is wet. What else is new? But what's new to me is seeing players outright demanding that the other side do something beneficial to them. For example, giving the last player the hatch. Again, for those unfamiliar, say you're playing Survivor and all 3 of your teammates die. Repairing all the generators and opening an exit gate by yourself would be impossible. So when there's just one guy left, a hatch appears somewhere on the map that will allow the final survivor to escape. But hurry up. The killer can slam the hatch shut if he finds it first. Now, some killers, upon getting 3 kills, will allow the last survivor to escape through said hatch, since, hey, I got my 3 kills, let the last guy go. That's nice. That's a nice generous thing for any killer player to do. The thing is, there are some survivors who downright expect this. Like if you don't give the last living player the hatch, you're somehow breaking the rules. I never give the hatch to anyone unless they ask nicely by crouching repeatedly in front of me. But it goes beyond this. There's a whole list of things that both sides are expected not to do. For example, one of the most contentious topics in the game, tunneling. It's tunnel vision, essentially, where a killer singles out one survivor and only chases him, injures him, only puts that survivor on the hook, just relentlessly focusing on one guy until he's dead. Survivors hate tunneling, and I completely understand. Nobody likes being singled out. Everyone wants at least a chance to play the game without being instantly murdered. The problem is, tunneling is really effective and one of the most surefire ways to win matches as a killer. Why is this? Allow me to share the perspective of somebody who almost only plays killer, and bear in mind this is probably biased, but hear me out. Killer players always start the game at a disadvantage, but could easily snowball off of smaller victories to win. Survivors have 5 generators to repair, and all 4 of them can spawn right on top of a generator right at the start. For contrast, killers never spawn anywhere close to survivors. You have to go find them. At the start of the game, the killer is always behind. For this reason, killing a survivor very early is very enticing. Turning the 4 versus 1 into a 3 versus 1 fast improves your odds of victory tremendously. But tunneling isn't fun for survivors. They want the killer to play fair and chase everyone. The play fair sentiment is what fascinates me. Again, it's totally unique to this one gaming community, and while it's easy to just pick on irritable gamers and the things they say, I don't think it comes down to being mad. It's far too pervasive for it to be salt alone. Here's one of Dead by Daylight's top content creators apologizing for playing killer effectively.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry I played that so cutthroat.
The context for this clip is that he was doing a challenge where he plays every killer with random perks, and if he loses once, he has to start all over. Naturally, he was quite stressed about completing the challenge, and when the game started out very poorly for him, he ruthlessly tunneled 2 of the survivors to death, one after another. To be clear, no shade to waahhhh, he is by far one of the best content creators this game has, and I have nothing but respect for the hard work he's done over the years. His videos are very, very entertaining. But I have never in my life seen anyone apologize for playing really well, especially when he has a challenge going and is at risk of losing his whole streak. In any game that involves players going against each other, there will be winners and losers. Sometimes you're the lion, and sometimes you're the lamb. But in this game, it is highly encouraged to avoid targeting one player too much, to chase and hook all 4 survivors as much as possible, and occasionally to let some survivors escape if they played really well or ask nicely. The killer, the bad guy, is encouraged to micromanage the fun of other players, not treading on their toes too much so as to avoid being called toxic because they chased one guy more than the others. Is this a game where you're supposed to win, or is it a party game where everyone hangs out, gets points, and mostly chills out? Nobody can agree. Some players are super competitive, which is fine, and some players don't really care that much, which is also fine. The problem is that each side expects the other to play the same way that they do, and I have seen way too many examples of the quote-unquote chill players being upset when they encounter a guy who actually wants to win. Setting down rules that aren't actually in the game is, in my opinion, kind of silly. People are gonna play how they want. So what do? Well, I don't try to tunnel, but I don't try to avoid doing so either. I chase who I can find. If there are a few survivors in my view but one is injured, guess what? I'm chasing the injured one. If that means somebody goes on the hook 3 times in a row, that's on the other 3 survivors for not taking any hits. I mostly play to win. I'm not nice. I'm a meanie. I'm the bad guy. My job is to jump out and yell boo, spook the survivors, kill some or all of them, and I only allow the last guy to escape if he asks nicely by crouching a bunch and pointing, or pulling out the guitar. Perhaps some people would describe my playstyle as ruthless or cutthroat. I just want to win. Your fun isn't my job. I know that might sound a bit selfish, but I play games for fun, and so do you. And I think it's way more fun when the survivors put up a good fight rather than just giving up and asking to be let go. Survivors who work together have a much higher escape rate than ones who scatter and play selfishly. Altruistic survivors are very hard to deal with so long as they aren't literally brain dead. Whenever somebody dies super early in a match, it's because the other 3 didn't gather around the weak link to protect him. I love matches like that. It makes me feel like Kanye scoring 106 points against a bunch of guys in wheelchairs. I'm not gonna pull some holier-than-thou act and pretend I don't like easy wins. I do, but I love it more when both sides put up a monstrous fight. It's really intense and hard, and after the game is over, win or lose, we all sit back and say, man, what a match. It's impossible to be mad when a survivor does something really clever or pulls off that weird spin around to get out of view thing, or perfectly times a flashlight blind to make me drop a teammate. As irritating as it may be in the moment, it takes good game sense and positioning to pull that off reliably. And I have a special place in my heart for that stupid little guitar. There's a good chance I'll let you go if you pull it out in front of me. But hey, what do I know? I only have 500 hours, and according to people much better at this game than me, that barely qualifies me as a beginner. That's all. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. Like, subscribe, and get out. Video's over.